Well, I guess the first thing I'd say is very humbled, very appreciative of Drake University and the opportunities that we got to come here. And so I don't know that I've done anything special above anybody else. There's a whole bunch of folks that have graduated from Drake that do great things in the community. So I'm just very appreciative of the opportunity to actually go through Drake and to receive the award. Wrestling is a tough sport, but some of the things that, as I thought about this before we got here today, discipline, a lot of hard work. We actually won several matches based on our conditioning. We had a coach by the name of Lonnie Timmerman who believed in hard work, and so our conditioning was very good. But you probably learn as much from your losses as you do from your wins, and you learn how to bounce back. And so there's really a lot of things that we learned in athletics, and especially here competing at Drake, that you carry on in life, and you'd be surprised what the parallel is. Lonnie Timmerman was our high school football and wrestling coach, and I believe he left after my sophomore year and came to Drake, and so we had a relationship there, and he kind of had a link back to Greenfield. And so I think from his time at Greenfield and his time at Drake, I think we had 10 kids from Greenfield he actually recruited here, 7 of which wrestled varsity at some time during their career. So it's just that relationship. I wasn't a highly recruited athlete. I had a couple calls from some other universities, but he was actually the first to show interest and kind of stayed after me and came out to visit a couple of times, and so it was the best place for me. Sure. Lonnie Timmerman was a very, what would I say, very forceful person. He just couldn't take no for an answer. He liked to compete, and he wanted to see Drake University go. So there was a lot of things that you picked from him. I would say we were probably a lot of ordinary individuals. We had a couple of state champs that were recruited, but most of us were not. And so probably not the greatest athletes across the country came here, but yet some talented athletes. Everybody brought unique skills. Just a great bunch of kids from Iowa, and we had some from really all over the country. We had some folks from Illinois and Minnesota and South Dakota, but a lot of Iowa kids. So great diversity, and they all thought of things a little bit differently, but they brought great things to Drake. Yeah. Here's what I'll say, and I'll jump up on the soapbox here a little bit. But when you look in terms of the opportunities, again, we were probably some kids that were not highly recruited. I'll give an example. I was 4th in the state tournament as a senior. But as we would compete, it was nothing for us to beat state champs from other states. When we beat 3-time state champs, we might mention it, but that was very common for Drake University athletes to compete with the best across the country. And so I look at some of the folks that graduated from Drake, from the wrestling program, and quite frankly, they probably would not have went to college if it hadn't been for Drake Wrestling. Members of the National Wrestling Coaches Hall of Fame, doctors, lawyers, we have congressmen, judges. The top judge in Iowa is a Drake University wrestler. And so I guess I would just say it's lost opportunity. Think of all the great things that could happen, and if there's one wish that I could do across the country, would be that we could double the number of athletic programs, both for male and female, that would allow more and more kids to compete and just have great experiences. I don't know that I got much of a legacy, but most people can say, well, who is that guy? And so I don't know. I guess I would look back and people would say he was a good person, and he made a difference in life. And I can think of the opportunities. I think when my mother dropped me off here at Drake, I was a very shy. I'd only been out of the state once to a fishing trip in Minnesota. And when she went to drop me off, I said, I don't think this is a good idea. Let's just go back home. And she said, get your stuff out of the trunk, I'm leaving. And I just felt lost at the point. But she was a very strong person who knew, that her sacrifices and her parents' sacrifices will make a difference in our lives. So I would just hope people would think that, hard work will pay off, and that, if you attend places like Drake University, great things will happen.